All right, folks. This is Tidbits for the Word, and this is Brother Peter. And we're pressed so great for time, so great for time. We can't seem to get through. We've been in Romans chapter 8 for the last 40 minutes, 4 excerpts. And this is the 5th one, and we're going to go over to Matthew in a couple of minutes. And we're going to go back to the milk of the Word, the disciples talking to Jesus about the milk of the Word. And Jesus dealt to them a prayer that is the milk of the Word for you and I. We have got to have it, though. We got to have it while we're in the midst and while we're in the presence of doing the meat work of God. We have to do it with the milk. You know, there's something I love. I love a cold glass of milk when I'm eating a meat sandwich. I can eat strong food and weak food at the same time. The milk is considered, the milk of the Word is considered, a young Christian can't eat meat, but he can eat milk. You give a young Christian a piece of meat and he'll choke to death on it. So we've got to be careful to not overload a young Christian. But we're talking meat living right now. We're talking living in the Spirit and not the flesh. Yes, I'm in the flesh. Yes, this body is going to live until it dies. But I'm telling you what, this body is carrying around Brother Peter. Brother Peter's inside of this body. The Brother Peter that used to be this body in the flesh was a brother that was not a good brother. Was not a brother of God. Was not a son of God. Was the son of the devil and the brother of the devil. Now, let's get over here. Jesus talking to his disciples. Now, what he says right here, he said, now you're not in the flesh now, boys. You're headed somewhere. And you're not going to be in the flesh. You're going to be in the Spirit. And now that you come into the Spirit, you got to live after the Spirit. Now he said, take heed that you do not your eyes before men, this is Matthew chapter 6, to be seen of them. Otherwise, you have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Now, he said, there is a way to get rewards and there's a way to lose rewards. If you do something so that you can get patted on the back, if you do something so somebody will see you, let's just say you even dress to go to church so somebody will say something about your clothes, how nice they are and how expensive they are and all this and that. You're doing something for the flesh and not for the Spirit. Now, my daddy taught me, you see this necktie I got on, I'm preaching. My daddy taught me, when I go to church, you weigh best you got, son. When you're preaching, you look like a preacher. Don't be preaching or teaching without your tie and whatever. And some of these that I've done, I don't have a tie on. And I planned on those being respectful, but I also planned on those being dressed down, in a sense, to show people that I'm a common man just like anybody else. I'm not on a pedestal. I'm just like anybody else. And I can worship God without a tie, but I like worshiping God with a tie. I like being in uniform. I like being in attention with God when I have His attention. When I have God's attention, I'm in fear. I'm sitting here today speaking on this machine in fear. Yes, I reverence the Lord. Yes, I love the Lord. But I'm also aware that He's here and He's around and that He's local and that He's omnipresent and that He's all-seeing and that I have to be very careful how I teach and what I teach. Matthew chapter 6 verse 2. Therefore, when thou doest thine arms, which is that's thy deeds, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogue and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. The very first 2 weeks that I started doing these little excerpts on YouTube, a lady who was very interested in what the motivation I had was for getting on the YouTube. She said to me, what is the deal? You want to get your name out there? You want to be something in the world? You want to be big Mr. Peter, the guy with all of the know-how and the know and all that? And I said, ma'am, that is not my desire. My desire is to retrieve the time that I've lost in my life to the uttermost that I can on this here medium that I'm on. And these things could be taken off here and stuck together. The 5 or 6 I'm doing right now on the same subject, they could be stuck together and be a 50-minute sermon, or they could be used in a classroom and be 10-minute excerpts in a classroom. And these aren't for me. These are for when I die. They're going to be used while I am alive, but I'm not here to do it for Brother Peter. I'm a man with no education, no money, no nothing. I don't have anything. I'm sitting here today in debt, in problems, in everything else that everybody else in this world is in. I'm in it. But yet, on the other hand, I sit here with peace, joy, love, contentment in my heart. I'm as content that God's going to take me through to the other end, no matter what happens. And I have to be careful. The Bible said, if you've ensnared yourself with your tongue, get up in the morning, get out and deliver yourself, or deliver yourself before you go to bed at night. I already got up this morning, and I already woke a guy up that I'm helping, and took the snare of my mouth down to a medium with him, to where he understands that perhaps I overstepped the ability that I have to make good some commitments I made to him. And this is what my wife said. She said, you know, yesterday, we're not really any good in what we're doing with folks that we try to help, because we're so busy doing other things, we can't tend personally to them like we need to. And that's kind of a truth. It's hard to run a mission when you can't be there. It's hard to do mission work when you can't be one-on-one, because the people of today, their needs is a man to be one-on-one. But it's very difficult today to find anybody to work with you and work with other people one-on-one. They're just not out there. And they're just not in the church. They're not. Everybody's got too much to do. They're carrying too big a load. And so let's get back in the Word. We chase a rabbit now for 4 minutes, or 3 or 4 minutes. But listen to verse 3. And when thou doest thine alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, that thine alms may be in secret, and that thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. Now what we do in secret. I have revealed to many people the procedure that I use when I witness to young people who are servers at Wendy's and McDonald's and all the little restaurants we go to, by putting a dollar bill in a track and hand a track with a dollar bill in it. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn or blowing my own trumpet. I'm saying, I'm telling you that so you can do the same. So I can pass on a tradition that could get started, and you do the same. You become one of those who are an effective Christian. Are you an effective Christian? Are you an effective Christian? When Jesus puts the sheep on one side and the goats on the other, which pen are you going to be in? You going to be in the sheep pen or the goat pen? Now I'm going to tell you this. The sheep pen and the goat pen are not because of your works that you did of salvation. The goat pen is the lost ones. They never did get saved. They're living by their works. I'm not living by my works. I'm showing you my works by my faith that Jesus Christ did it, and he did it all. I don't have to do anything. I didn't even have to get up this morning, get on this machine. I don't have to do anything. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm driven by a love for a Savior who shed his blood on the cross that I might be able to do this, and that's why I'm doing it. Now, I hadn't got very far. It said, and when thou prayest,